as you all trickle in for this cybersecurity webinar, I'm curious what everyone's level of cybersecurity expertise is. If you want to throw it in the chat for us, and we take beginners. So
Absolutely. Oh, thank you for coming to the webinar today. At Roundtable, we're very humble and we call this the best 45-minute cybersecurity awareness event ever. And this is something we do every year. In fact, we have a 60-minute training that we do for the nonprofit sector every January. So if you enjoy today's training, please check that out. It's always held the last Thursday of January. If it follows suit this year, that's when it will be
well, and
in
be very thankful we're not
2027.
doing that rendition today because it involves a lot of karaoke, and you don't want to hear that from me and Jessica. So
Yeah, we're not the karaoke team at Roundtable, so today will be fun though, we hope. We have brought you a game, so we are looking forward.
Yes, thank you so much. Let me just, before we get started, a few housekeeping notes from MCN. So my name is Claire Ladd. I'm the Programs and Services Manager over at MCN. And thanks so much for joining us today. And just before we dig into the content, the recording and the slides from the program will be emailed to you probably by tomorrow. So please keep an eye on your email for that. And then as we go along, we'll be using the Q&A function for questions, and there'll be plenty of time to answer all of your questions during the webinar. And obviously, feel free to drop any questions about MCN or for me in the chat as well. And just a little background about us here at the Mass Council of Nonprofits. Our goals are to strengthen the nonprofit sector through advocacy, public awareness, and capacity building services. So we offer regular webinars such as this one in partnership with our affiliate members, and that's part of our capacity building efforts. Please stay tuned for future webinars. Let us know if there's anything in particular you'd like to see. Our efforts are made possible by our more than 600 member organizations. So thanks so much to those of you who are members. If you have not yet joined the network but would like to learn more, take advantage of those member benefits, you can visit macouncilofnonprofits.org/join to find out more. Today's webinar, as you can see, is titled The Best 45-Minute Cybersecurity Awareness Event Ever. It's presented by Jessica Peskay and Justin King of RoundTable Technology, and I'll hand it back to them to get us started.
amazing. Thank you, Claire. And thanks for having us today. We're very excited to have all of you here for security, as Jessica mentioned. This is the best 45-minute cybersecurity awareness training event ever. Not the best 1 hour, but that's okay. We will take Q&A at the end to round us out. So as Claire mentioned, we're from RoundTable Technology. We are an outsourced IT provider primarily for nonprofits. We've been in the business for, it's got to be 15 years, 14 years, long time. Jessica's been here most of that time. I myself have been here for about 5 years. I'm Director of Revenue Operations. Jessica, I'll let you intro yourself.
Yeah, I'm Jessica. I'm a solutions consultant at RoundTable Technology. So I'd be one of the first points of contact when people are interested in our services. And prior to this role, as Justin said, I've been at RoundTable a while. I have many years of experience as an account manager for our managed IT service clients, and I help them integrate cybersecurity best practices into their IT infrastructure. So I really am excited that you all are here today because this is of course, a very important topic and near and dear to our hearts. So we look forward to having a conversation with you today. So please do give us your questions as we go along.
Yeah, and on that note, we are going to try and keep it fun, keep it as engaging as we can about a topic that can be scary and maybe boring, but we're going to do our best. A couple of housekeeping notes. Most of this Claire already mentioned, but questions and upvoting are enabled. We do ask that if you see a question that you like and you'd like us to answer that first, you can just click the thumbs up next to it and we'll go through those with the highest upvotes first when we get to the end. Chat is enabled. We're actually going to ask for some audience interaction in a little bit with through the chat, and we'll take a look at it then. But Jessica and I might not see it if it's outside of those audience interaction times. So we do encourage light heckling, and we'll go review it later. Captioning should be enabled as well. If you need that, you can go ahead and turn it on now. Let us know if it doesn't work. All right. So before we get to the game section of today, I wanted to hit a couple of points about why cybersecurity is important, why it's important right now, and why it's important for nonprofits. So some of these are obvious, but we're just going to hit them. We don't know who's in the room, but cybersecurity is really important to nonprofits because it helps safeguard the people that you serve. It helps safeguard your donors, your constituents, your staff, all of that. And that can be really important. And so we just want to take these 45 minutes to an hour to think about it, how we can better protect you as an organization and also your constituents. It can help ensure mission continuity. One of the worst case scenarios for a nonprofit, your biggest fundraising day of the year, suddenly everything goes down. You can't process payments. You can't process donations. That's a big problem that has far-reaching implications, right? And so we want to do our best and show you ways that you can avoid that, show you things to look out for, and that's what we're going to do today. Can help preserve limited resources as well. A lot of people think of IT and cybersecurity as just a cost drain, which is a common pitfall, like I said. But we would really like to reframe that, and cybersecurity is a way to preserve your resources. 9 times out of 10, it should save you more money than it costs. Obviously, we would say that, but we're gonna show you why and tell you, and you know, there's some obvious implications there as well. And last but not least, it can help protect trust. It can protect the trust of your organization and your reputation, which is really important, and it's hard to get back. And if you are collecting data and there is a breach or something like that, the next time someone comes to donate, maybe they think twice about it, and we don't want that. So those are just a few reasons. Additionally, why it's so important in this day and age. People have been harping on cybersecurity for the last 20 years, and it only continues to get worse, and that is for a reason. And as you can see here, cyber attacks are on the rise. Since 2021, they have more than doubled, 2.5x. And more importantly than that, with the advent of artificial intelligence and AI, the differences in targeting have also changed. What we hear a lot from nonprofits is, my mission isn't super controversial. We don't have a lot of money, so people aren't going to target us for a cyber attack. Well, that's changing. In 2026 now, attacks of opportunity are the most common, and that's just because bad actors are doing large campaigns, and they're targeting anyone and everyone they can get a hold of. If you do have a critical mission, they might be specifically targeting you, but attacks of opportunity are the most common. Third-party breaches as well. So you're trusting your data to these SaaS platforms and providers. You also need to think that through, make sure that they are protecting your data because your reputation is on the line regardless. And as I mentioned, with the advent of AI, these are getting more sophisticated, harder to detect, and more automatable. So they're doing more of it. All right. I'll pass it to Jessica as we get into the more fun section of our game.
Yes, so today, welcome to Security the Game. I'm going to be your host today, and I will ask our expert Justin questions about cybersecurity. They do need to pay attention because we would like you to assist our expert as we go along. These are the categories today. We're going to be going through brain trust, which is social engineering, phishing, keep it secret, keep it safe, hook, line, and sinker, and what the what? Emerging threats.
And we will try and get through as many as we can, and we might skip around a little bit. And I do just want to note that any relation to the show Jeopardy is just purely coincidence, and we don't know what you're talking about.
To get started, we are going to dive into brain trust. They say knowledge is power, but in this category, hackers use what you know against you. So here we're looking at the psychological tactics bad actors use. Brain trust for 200, Justin. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. To gain a victim's trust, an attacker uses this technique to craft a fabricated scenario, such as pretending to be an IT auditor before asking for sensitive data.
Well, Jessica, I think you're giving me a softball on this one. Does anyone want to take a look around the slide and tell me what the answer is?
We'll give you a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe not a minute.
We'll give you
Some
about
seconds.
till right now. I think it's pretexting. What is pretexting, Jessica?
Well, pretexting is using a simple phishing email And it's the long con of the digital world. So it's just someone who's bad actor is focusing on building a believable foundation or the pretext to lower your defenses and get what they want to happen to happen.
Absolutely. And so most of you are probably familiar with what traditional phishing is. And this is more a throw it, something against the wall, see what sticks. Whereas pretexting is, like Jessica said, that long con. They are targeting you specifically. They're using specific data to gain your trust. Whereas phishing, they might, impersonate common brands and services, because who doesn't use Amazon or Visa or whatever? And so an example here of pretexting could be a caller pretending to be someone from your company's IT department or your outsourced IT. And they might say, hey, we detected unusual login activity on your account, and I just need to confirm your username and the code that was just texted to your phone so I can secure it. So in that case, how many of us think we might, if it's been a long day and we're not thinking too straight, fall for that? We're not victim blaming here, but that is a very human thing to fall for. They know your name, they know your organization's name, they know you have an IT department or an outsourced IT department, and they're asking for information that might appear innocuous, right? So no shame, but we're going to talk about today a few ways that you can potentially avoid that.
All right, so our next category is brain trust for 400. This cognitive shortcut causes people to prioritize immediate time-sensitive tasks over more important ones, often exploited when hackers use limited time or account expiring warnings. I had trouble with that one, Justin, but
that's okay.
Here we go.
It happens. We're all human, like I just said. So this one we got multiple choice for. And does anyone have an idea of what they think this could be? So is it scarcity bias, urgency bias, authority bias, or optimism bias? Urgency.
Thank you for
Danielle.
putting your answers in the chat. We love that. We encourage you to do that today. So we've got
we got 2 for B.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, well, I'm going to go with B. What is urgency bias? Amazing. So diving into that a little bit more, urgency bias is a favorite tool for attackers because it shuts down the brain's analytical processing. When we feel rushed as human beings, we tend to act first and verify later. It's just something that happens, right? And so what bad actors are doing here, they are trying to get you to bypass the standard security protocols that you have in place. Something as simple as checking, the sender's email address on an email to make sure it's coming from who you think it is. And so most security experts in these cases, when you start feeling rushed, when you start feeling like this is a priority and you're going to start skipping steps, is to use something called the pause and pivot method. So you want to stop for 30 seconds and you want to verify the request through a different known communication channel, not the one that you just got the request on. And so we call this out-of-band authentication, or UBA. And it's important to do because this is how you make sure that it really is who you think it is. And as you see Jessica's background, Verify, we can show you what Tater and Stash, our little characters there, are later. But we say Verify or Verify is one of the most important things you can do when it comes to cybersecurity awareness. And if the person on the other end who's asking you for something is not okay with you taking 30 seconds to verify through another communication method, that is a huge red flag, because they should be. And if it is, in fact, someone at your organization that is not okay with this, then that's something you also need to work on in building a culture of cybersecurity awareness, knowing why it's important and knowing that it's okay to take that 30 seconds. So an example of this, I actually have a personal one, if I think we have a little bit of time, but there's been a scam going around my area where someone will call pretending to be a police officer. And so one morning I'm sleeping in on a Saturday and I get this call, and they say, hey, this officer, whatever. And wouldn't you know it, but Sal, I am currently in contempt of court because I missed jury duty, which no one here knows me, but I don't check my mail that often. So that's a real possibility. And so the idea in this scam is that they keep you on the phone. They threaten you as a trusted authority source, the police here, and they are using this urgency bias to attempt you to go get you to wire money, pay a fee, bond, whatever it is, right? But the trick is they do their utmost to not let you get off the phone. They don't let you think. They don't let you take 30 seconds because they want to keep your brain in fight or flight mode. They're not going to give you the chance to think. That's their whole plan. They're abusing urgency bias. All right, what do we got?
Thank you, Justin. All right, brain trust for 600. Before launching an attack, hackers use this phase to gather publicly available data from social media, websites, and news releases to build a convincing narrative.
I think I got this one by myself. What is OSINT? So if you haven't heard of OSINT, it stands for Open Source Intelligence. And this is just the data that is easily available about people on the internet or other public sources. So if you think about yourself and you think about, since the advent of Facebook, 15, 20 years ago, whatever it was, and how much data you have out there that is potentially public, not just Facebook, but just on the website, when you have your first and last name, maybe you have your email, whatever it is. But all of this information combined is called OSINT. And this is what social engineers or these bad actors use to learn about their targets and create that well-crafted pretext that we talked about earlier and other specific attacks that we'll talk about later. And so this is why it's important, especially in this day and age where AI is scraping all of the stuff on the internet, makes it so easy to get this, that you review your online settings, you think about what you're sharing and who you're sharing it to, you adjust your privacy settings, and just be very cognizant. And this AI is just allowing them to get all of this information, automate it, and make it more sophisticated and easier to use and more realistic. Sorry, go.
I just wanted to say that new hires are very susceptible to phishing attacks. So, people announcing happily on LinkedIn that they've gotten a new job, that's often used against them by bad actors. And a new hire is particularly vulnerable because they're not as embedded in the new work culture yet. So they might be convinced that the CEO does need them to do something urgently. The executive director is asking them, to wire money or what have you. So it's important to get people in the onboarding process to talk about cybersecurity as you're bringing new people in.
Absolutely. And the CEO never is going to need gift cards through email. Just FYI. I almost fell for that one in my early career as well.
All right. So next we've got blank ishing. And we're going to cover smishing, vishing, all the ishings as we talk about all the channels that hackers use these days. Whether they're using a wide net or a carefully crafted and targeted harpoon, attackers these days are always angling for your data. Apologies for all the silly puns, but let's see if you can spot the bait.
I mean, what better place to do silly puns in a category called smishing? So.
True. Phishing for 200, a social engineering attack where a scammer pretends to be a trusted entity to trick someone into sharing sensitive information or taking a harmful action against themselves.
Okay, so I think we probably spoiled this earlier if you were paying attention. Does anyone have a guess?
We'd love to hear your guess, see your guesses in the chat.
Yeah. We have an example of it, actually, right there on the slide. Okay. Well, I think I know what it is. What is phishing? So, as we mentioned, traditional phishing is that throw something against the wall, see what sticks using common brands. So, Home Depot, like we just saw in the last slide. And in the age of AI, especially with all that open source data that we just talked about, these have gotten a lot more sophisticated. I don't know. Oh, I got my whole thing over here. Here we go. So I'm sure you've all noticed that in the last few years, phishing emails are harder to identify. Used to be, you could see bad grammar, misspellings, very obvious things that would give you a red flag. Like, this is probably not from Home Depot or Visa or whatever it was, with all the typos, etc. But these are starting to look incredibly legitimate, and they can also be incredibly timely when it's based on that open source intelligence. Absolutely, Sierra. AI is making it a lot harder to spot. And so we're going to get into a few things that you can still look for, but it is absolutely important to have the right tools in place as well to help you spot these.
We're going to start though with a message like this one where there are very obvious tells that this is a phishing email.
Yes, because you can still sometimes run into these, but these are also going to be useful even with the more sophisticated ones, some of them. So as you can see, this is like Jessica said, this is one of the older ones. The sender email address here, that looks off. Many times this will still probably be incorrect unless they have gained access to someone that you actually do trust. We've had this happen before where it's a trusted vendor. They have been breached, and then now they're using their email to send us. So the email address actually does match up. So another thing to be on the lookout for. For the subject generic salutation and fear and curiosity, this probably will stay the same. They're trying to create that urgency bias. They're trying to give you less time to think. So if you get an email that looks really scary or really interesting, either way, when it's invoking those strong emotions, that itself is a red flag to look a little bit closer. You still might see some cases of awkward grammar, but really, when you're looking at links and any email that has an attachment or a link should immediately be a red flag. Some people send links, so you're going to have that, but you should still have that, curiosity come up, and you can hover over the link, see where it's going to before you click on it, and we suggest you do that. If it's an attachment, be very, very careful that you're positive of who it's coming from before you download and open that.
Yeah. I mean, I would always advise folks to just don't click at work. If you are really curious about this message, then go log into the service separately and just check your
Absolutely.
account.
Absolutely.
There's no reason to click the links.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've had that before, like a bank is calling me for something. It's like, in this day and age, I no longer trust you. I'm going to log in and you can send me a message,
Right.
Okay.
All right. So ishing for 400, this type of scam targets specific individuals or roles. So this is another ishing. If you want to
Okay.
take a guess.
Well, I think we might make it a little easier.
Whoa,
Whaling.
we have a quiz.
Whaling's close. What do you do with a whale? Kind of.
Yep.
There we go. Thank you, Danielle. What is spear phishing is correct. So just like the name implies, whereas regular phishing is that wide net approach, spear phishing is going to be going after just one victim with highly targeted or personalized information. So often these attackers, like we said, are using OSINT. They're setting up those pretexts. They're doing all these strategies that we just mentioned in order to identify specific relevant company information or job information, personal interest, whatever it is, to set that pretext up and gain your trust. An example of spear phishing could be an email sent to a company's HR manager that appears to come from your executive director. It might say, hey, Sarah, I'm headed into a meeting and I need you to send me the updated employee payroll file right away. And this is spear phishing because it's targeting a specific person in a specific role, Sarah, say, and it's using personalized details to make the message feel more legitimate. Who here thinks like they might fall for this on a busy day? It looks like it's coming from your executive director. It's just a quick email. It seems innocuous.
I'll give you the answer. Anyone could fall for this on a
Anyone could
busy
fall for
day.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, like we mentioned earlier, this would be a perfect instance to verify out of band. So instead of emailing the ED, maybe you pick up the phone, you Slack, you use something else that you can quickly verify just to make sure.
All right. Ishing for 600. This type of attack comes over text message.
This, my favorite one, just because of how funny it sounds. What is smishing or SMS phishing? So I actually think text phishing, smishing, I feel like it fell off for a few years, but it's kind of back now.
It's back.
It's back because people are trusting text messages more now that email, I feel like, is so compromised. It is annoyingly back, Danielle. But
yes, it is so annoying.
yeah.
Because your doctors is sending you texts now about bills and appointments, and so there's a lot of noise in that channel from legitimate, contacts, and so
the
that's
political
making it harder.
texts. Yeah,
Yeah, all the
exactly.
things.
Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons why text messages are a big threat vector, and a lot of reasons why they're back. They typically have a lot higher open rates than even email, and that's just because, I mean, if it's a text on your phone, you're going to open it to get that little notification to go away, right?
Hmm.
And if you open it, there's a higher chance that you're going to read it, and then a higher chance you're going to fall for it, and so that's why they're doing it. There's no good spam filters on phones. They are getting better depending on what your operating system is about kind of filtering out the spam, but they're not perfect. The links are typically shorter. You can't hover over it easily to see what it is. You just have to click on it. And our phones have a lot of sensitive data on them these days. They have most of our sensitive data on them, honestly. What next?
Next is the new category, keep it secret, keep it safe.
My favorite, big nerd.
All right. So we're going to dive a little deeper first and talk about the most common account security layer that we use. And it's very obvious once we get to the next slide what we're going to talk about.
It's passwords.
Passwords. Yes.
So unfortunately, in 2026, most of us are still using passwords, and they are a big threat vector. More people are using something called single sign-on, which I think we get into a little bit later, but most people are still using passwords for most of their accounts. And most people have at least 100 accounts that they access semi-regularly and use a password on. This password is your first line of defense. Obviously, I'm not going to explain to you what passwords are. I trust everyone that knows what these are. But it's so important that you protect your passwords and make them long, strong, and unique. And an easy way to do that is through a password manager. I hope most of you are already using a password manager these days. If at a bare minimum, Google Chrome has one installed, most browsers do, but we suggest you use a specific one that is more secure. Their Keeper, 1Password, LastPass, all of these are great password managers. And this will allow you to make all of your passwords long, strong, and unique. We're all humans. We can't keep 100 different passwords in our head. And so if you don't have a password manager and you're not storing your passwords, I guarantee you most of your accounts have 2 to 3 of the same password for all 100 accounts. And when you're looking at things like your bank accounts, your email, things that have very important information behind them, you want those passwords to be strong. And so the biggest benefit of Password Manager, you only have to remember one password. And that's the one to get into the manager. And then it remembers all the rest of them for you. Most of them have browser extensions that make it really easy and simple to use. And, so.
And you put multi-factor authentication on it to protect the account so that it is secure.
Absolutely. And I think we go over MFA a little bit later, but absolutely, this is the one that needs MFA. It's your password manager. Passkeys. Ooh, I think we could do that real quick. Yeah, absolutely, Celine. Passkeys are also a great option that you can do. And you can do passkeys, you can do single sign-on. All these are great options. And yeah. All right, what next?
Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about passwords. We're still diving deeper because they're so important. And we wanted you to look at this list and tell us what is the strongest password from this list, 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, we'll take votes in the chat. 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Look, I see a split at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I like this. We're a little, we got all the answers. I think 2 and 3 are favorites. I see 3 more time. Okay. Whoever picked 3, you are correct. Longer, the better. So if you were to brute force each of these passwords, this is on average how long it would take. So the first one, only 9 hours. The second one, 34,000 years, which is still pretty good. But I like to eat donuts on Wednesdays with period. 49 whatever the heck that is years. So a long time. I know a lot of people pick the second one because it has the different characters and all of that, which is really good. You can still include that in your longer ones, but this really brings up a useful point that a lot of people don't think about, and that's called passphrases. So I like to eat donuts on Wednesdays. It's a lot easier to remember than X cube Z dollar percent, right? And so for the passwords that you're not storing in your password manager that you need to remember, I like to eat donuts on Wednesdays is a perfectly great password. You could throw a dollar sign in at the end if you want, but it's going to take a lot longer to brute force. And typically, you don't want these to be things that are personal to you. I like to eat donuts on Wednesdays is perfect. But my child is named X might not be the best one.
You can add numbers to passphrases,
Yeah,
so in my sentence that as my major long password, I substituted, the E's are threes, just
yeah,
to add in some more special characters. But all the spaces count as special characters, and so that it does make it very difficult to
yeah. And that
crack.
was that was I think comment to Parker. There's no number in the last one. A lot of accounts are going to make you do a number and special character. So you can absolutely replace some things in a passphrase, but it's still going to be easy to remember that all the E's are threes, or the I's are ones, or whatever it is, right? Okay.
All right. Next category is keep it secret, keep it safe for 200. Rather than reusing the name of your first pet, security experts recommend using this type of software to generate and store unique, complex credentials in an encrypted vault.
You're making it too easy, Jessica. I think we're gonna have to
I
stick
know. This is
around.
for 200,
I know,
so
I know, I
everyone
know.
gets $200 now.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Yes. What is a password manager? So we won't go into this. We just talked about it, but this is the perfect solution to the trade-off between convenience and security. You don't have to remember all your unique passwords this way, right? Most of the password manager providers that I just talked about, they never see your actual passwords. They're all encrypted, and so if they do have a breach, your passwords are very unlikely to be a part of that, which is why they're so useful. Most of them have cross-device syncing, and it just makes it easier to use your passwords. But we won't spend any more time on it. So,
All right. Keep it secret, keep it safe for 400. This security feature prevents 99.9% of account compromises.
again, I think we spoiled it earlier. Any ideas on what this one is? What's the one thing if you have to do it? That There we go. Thank you, Lisa. Again, you're on fire. What is multi-factor authentication? So I'm sure everyone has already had to deal with MFA on a day to day. Your bank is not going to let you get away with not doing it. So by adding this additional factor to your logins, the same way that you would close and lock your door to your house, this is going to create an exponentially more secure account. And so setting up MFA on all your crucial systems is probably the number one most important thing and most valuable thing that you can do. If that's all you get out of today, other than verify, don't forget that. Start setting up MFA on your important accounts. So if a bad actor does somehow get your password and your username, it doesn't matter. It's still a problem, but they're not going to be able to get into your account. One of our personal favorites, and it's the one that you see here in this little GIF, if you're wondering what that is a hardware key, and it's called a YubiKey. And so rather than get a code that is texted to your phone that someone could ask for on the phone, you need this physical key in order to log in. This one gets plugged into your USB port and you tap it when you need the code, but you need it to get in. Okay. Oh, I'm the wrong one. I just, well, nope. Okay, there we
Nope,
go.
you didn't spoil anything.
Oh,
Here we
really?
go.
Question in the
Claire, we got a
Q&A
question?
about the MFA from Sheer. Sheer asked how to deal with MFA when you have staff turnover and MFA is linked to people's personal phones.
Great question, Sheer. So you can do this in a couple of different ways. For RoundTable, we use Google Authenticator. for our MFA, or a couple different ones. But you can set that up through your work emails and get access to it that way. I think many of the password managers, if you're including that, you can set up MFA through that, and so that you can easily transfer those over. Jessica, anything else?
Yeah, no, the important thing is having a method so that you can transfer the accounts. So just thinking about that on your offboarding process.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the question, Sheer.
All
Okay.
right. Next one, keep it secret, keep it safe for 600. This deceptive tactic involves overwhelming a user with relentless push notifications.
All right. We've got a couple of options here. What is credential stuffing? What is MFA fatigue? What is tailgating? And what is session hijacking? All right. I think I know the answer. This is going to be MFA fatigue. So, this is a tactic where hackers are hoping that if they overwhelm you with text messages or notifications, you will eventually hit approve just to stop the noise and granting attackers access to your critical systems. So, if you ever do feel like this is happening to you, it's important to go and immediately change your passwords to whatever account these notifications are attached to. And I think we are getting a little close on time, Jessica. Let me see if we can skip around a little bit. What do I want to do? Let's do this one. Is this a bad deep fake? I think. Okay. No, this one's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will move ahead to what the what for 200. These AI generated videos use face swapping technology to make it look and sound like a real person is saying something they never actually said.
All right. Let me stop sharing because I did not optimize for video. Okay. Let's see if we can get this to work, everybody.
Well, we do want to talk about
Angela here, live from the Cedar Grove flood disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real.
Okay. Well, that was a quick one. I'm sure we've all seen the AI videos that have been coming out that are crazy realistic.
Except this one has the Loch Ness monster in the background. Other than that, very realistic.
Happen though. You don't believe in Nessie? All right. Well, these are deepfakes, and they have been very popular in the news in the last few years. They're getting really good, and they combine multiple techniques that we went over to produce that sophisticated social engineering attack that has already been very successful in several documented cybercrimes. And it's growing every year, especially as AI continues to get better. And they are getting better. I do have a quick personal example that I like to share when we're doing this. My mother, she called me at 2 a.m. a few months ago, and I don't know why I had my phone where I could hear it or vibrate. It was and so I picked up, and she had just a few minutes prior gotten a call from me, not at my number, but it sounded exactly like me, and I was saying I was in jail, I needed money, or whatever this scam was, and she was panicked when she called me, and I obviously I told her it wasn't me, whatever it was, but these are getting really good, and it had cloned my voice perfectly. It sounded like me. It knew my name. It knew her name, and it knew enough to make her feel like it was real. And the only reason that she ended up not thinking that it wasn't me was because her phone, she has like a Google Pixel phone, it came up and did like audibly told her this was a scam. If that hadn't happened, she might have fallen for it, right? Because how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to not believe that when your son calls you and says that they're in trouble and you want to help them as a parent, right? And so I think this is why it's so important, and we're talking about it more of talking about a family passphrase or a work passphrase that you can tell each other. It's not shared digitally, that to say, hey, this is real. And so in that case, if we had the family passphrase, you could have asked the scammer, hey, what's the passphrase? So I know this is real. They wouldn't have known it, and she would have known that that was fake, right? And so I'm not going to tell you what ours is, but it's something memorable and funny, and we do now have a family passphrase.
Organizations can have passphrase too.
Yeah.
And you just ask for the passphrase out of band, or even directly, as Justin did, suggest his mother could have. But that can be a really helpful line of defense.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we got time for one more. I do like the next one. Let's do that one.
All right. Oh, go back one.
Oh, well, I gave the answer away.
You did. But this is still important to cover, and so we are going to cover it.
All right.
What the was for 400, seen at the top of search results, this attack could be used by hackers to impersonate real brands and deliver malware.
Well, I spoiled it already, but it is malicious Google ads. So this is one that we don't think of a lot of times. And specifically, the sponsored Google ads, they're coming up first. And a lot of times we just kind of trust them, right? It's like, oh, yeah, that's the thing I need. Perfect. Sometimes we don't. We're like, ooh, this is annoying ads, not what I want. And you skip down. Or you're not even using Google at all anymore and you're just asking AI, which is also becoming more prevalent. But it's something to watch out for, that bad actors can impersonate larger brands and pay money to Google to put their ads and their scans up first. So if you are still using Google and still clicking on sponsored ads, just make sure to check the URL carefully. You can inspect it. And honestly, you might want to just get in the habit of not using the sponsored ones. If it is a valid vendor and a recognized authority, they're going to be right on the sponsored ads. So just be on the lookout for those and make sure to avoid them. So before we get to the Q&A portion, we just want to wrap it all up. I know we talked about a ton. I know someone mentioned that earlier. We will have the recording, and we do have a ton of resources on our own website that you can go and find if you want to dive deeper into any of these, or just kind of take it slow. You can go find us there. And so we just showed you a bunch of scary outcomes, but we want to end on a positive note, and there's a lot that you can do to help prevent these. As we mentioned, multi-factor authentication is going to be the number one thing. 99.9% of attacks stop dead in their tracks with MFA. That password manager that we mentioned, so you can make sure you have long, strong, and unique passwords for everything. Verify or verify out of band. And awareness training, which is what we're doing right now. So it's very important. And probably our personal favorite is making sure that your staff have a strong culture of cybersecurity awareness, making sure that if they do fall for an attack and they're the victim, that we're not blaming them, that we have a safe space for them to tell us that what happened. Because what we don't want is for our staff to accidentally fall for a phishing email and be afraid to tell anybody, because that doesn't help anyone. All right, let's see. Any questions?
Question in the chat: do you recommend simulated phishing to test staff? Absolutely. Yes. Managed phish testing is a great tool in combination with regular cybersecurity awareness trainings, and there are services where you can purchase both of these tools and have them running for all of your staff. 1,000%. That's a great thing to put in place.
Definitely. And we typically recommend those monthly, and most tools will have, like, they'll let you select a week or whatever that all your staff will randomly get once. And the best tools will send different ones to your staff so they can't all talk. Be like, hey, this is the phishing one, right?
Yeah. Does anyone need further explanation about what managed phish testing is? I didn't really, I don't know if I was clear enough.
Yeah.
All right. I guess so. So how secure are cloud-based servers, SharePoint and Google Drive?
Yeah, so typically those are going to be quite secure. Microsoft and Google take their security very, very seriously, but we still recommend having backups to even these systems outside of Google and Microsoft. And so if they do have an issue, you can make sure that your data is protected regardless. If you are looking at other third-party providers, though, we do recommend you take a look at their security page before signing up to be with them. Both Google and Microsoft have security pages you can go look at for reference. They're going to be the best, typically, the gold standard. But yeah.
Yeah, when you're bringing in other third-party software, it's a really good idea to take a moment and view their security pages, their data privacy policies, and things like that, so that you can be confident that their security is good enough and matches your security.
And especially with all these AI tools that I'm sure many of your staff are already using, you do want to make sure that they are not training their AI on your data. That's going to be very important as well. All right.
Thanks for your questions. It's great. Give any other questions? We'd love to answer a couple more.
If not, all good.
All good. All right. We will wrap it up. We did promise it was 45-minute training, so.
Bang on.
Well, yes, thank you both so much. We have some
Thanks,
really.
Claire,
Do you want to share our mailing list, Justin, for people to see that as they're leaving?
For sure. So if you go to roundtabletechnology.com/cyber-tips, you can sign up for cybersecurity tips weekly that have a lot of these same messages and themes in them. And you will get to meet Tater and Stash there, which is our potato and mustachioed cybersecurity duo. So
thank you so much for joining us today, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, and thank you to both
Anything
of
else,
you.
Claire?
Really appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Bye, everybody.